Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you today. We have been working on this old school Stern Stars pinball machine. It's one you don't see very often, and we've been doing a series of videos on it, so if you haven't seen the other videos, go back and check them out. But we did a video where we kind of just showed how we got it in. This is a gentleman's game that he's had in his family for a while, and he wants us to fix it and get it working for him again. And so in the first video, we kind of just showed off the condition that it was in. It's pretty rough. And then we started working on the power supply, and we cleaned it up a little bit. And then the second video, we worked on the MPU board and the displays, which we have got looking great. And then this is the third video. And so what we're going to do on this one is we're going to fix the Playfield. Now, we've already started on it a little bit. So before I show you where we're at now, I need to show you where we've came from. So I'm going to replay a little bit of the video from the first video, just so you can see how it looked when we started, and then we'll come back and show how it looks now that we've been cleaning it up a little bit. But in general, it's going to be okay. And then the Playfield, the glass is broken on it. There's filth and dirt all over it. Look at this. I don't even know what the hell that is. I hope that's drywall. Some bug might have done that. A gold bug. That's just dirt, so that'll come off. Looks like the paint's gone, but it's not. There is some paint issues around the bonus ladder there, but they're not too bad. So I think it'll clean up good. It'll just be a lot of work, but we'll get it. Okay, so we have carefully started cleaning everything off of the Playfield. Have removed all of the accoutrements, and we have used a magic eraser and alcohol to clean up the Playfield. And this is what we are at so far. Now, personally, I'm kind of surprised it came out this good, but it's looking pretty good. And all we've done is clean. We haven't done any kind of touch-up yet, but it's starting to look very presentable and very doable. Now, we've ordered some parts that are coming, but let me show you the plastics and stuff. So this left slingshot is broken in half. We ordered one of these, so fortunately we were able to find another used one to replace that. All of the posts are fine. The rest of the plastics seem fine, right? So everything's pretty cool. We're going to need some stickers for the spinners, but that'll be all right. And the drop targets will probably touch up with some paint as well. And we need a new pop bumper cap. This one's alright, but a new one would make it really pop. And you know, everybody always says that they want things to pop. There are other little minor things, like the flipper bat is broke. The wiring for the eject coil is all screwed up, but it's still dirty, right? One of the chimes, so the chimes came back and started working. You may have noticed in the previous video, but one of the chimes is disconnected, so I have to hook that back up. And you know, we haven't done anything under the Playfield, haven't messed with any of that. We're just kind of tag teaming up on the Playfield. So Joey is cleaning it up, and I'm going to paint it this evening, and then when he comes in tomorrow, he can put it all back together, and we'll see how it comes out. But we know everybody always likes watching us paint, so why not bring you along for the ride? Now, the gentleman that dropped this to us, he doesn't necessarily want it to be brand new, but we can do better than this, certainly. You could probably just leave it like this, because it's clean now, you know, and put everything back on it and wax it. But if we could get this center area to look better, that would be more desirable. So that's what we're going to try to do. But the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean it up just a little bit more. There's a little bit of glass still. The original, you saw how the shape it was in. The Playfield glass had broke. So there's still a little bit of pieces. If you ever break a Playfield glass, it will end up everywhere. I mean, you find pieces of that crap. It's like going to the beach and then putting your clothes in the trunk. You find sand in places for years, right? So I'm going to go get the vacuum cleaner, hit it a little bit more, and then we'll talk about seeing if we can fix up this middle part. All right, folks, so let's look in my box here. So I've got these paint pens somebody sent me, acrylic. Those are perfect for the black. I got these paint brushes. I've been using the same ones for 10 years. Haven't used them up yet. All you got to do is rinse them out, people. Okay, and so we're doing yellow and red. Hulk Hogan colors, brother. Cadmium yellow, that's a yellow. Bright yellow, that's a yellow. Saffron yellow, that's a yellow. Lemon yellow, that's a yellow. Cadmium we already did. I have a neon yellow. That's going to be 2 yellow. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, I often find myself needing purple for the yellow. Show you that here in a little bit. Another cadmium yellow. I got lots of yellows. Yellow light. That one felt about empty. Bup, 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 bup. Find all of my yellows. All my different yellow options. Another saffron yellow. I might have to order some more yellows for the next one, just so I got more alternatives. Bright yellow. That's for a bright one. Okay, that's all the yellow ones. So let's see if any of these yellows even come close to matching what's on the playfield. Okay, so this yellow, it looks nice and bright and clean, you know, because we've got, like, the bare wood there, we've got pretty clean, right? But if you look really closely at it, it's actually not clean. I mean, it's as clean as we can get it. But you see all those cracks in it and everything? So you can see now this is, like, heavily deteriorated, actually. Okay, so the problem that you're going to run into is if you put a nice clean yellow on there, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb because it's going to look brand new and this looks all old. That's what the purple's for. Purple is opposite yellow on a color wheel, so if your yellow is too vivid, like it looks too bright, you can kind of dull it out a little bit by putting a little teeny bit of its complementary. Is it complementary? The opposite color on the color wheel. So the opposite of yellow is purple. If you put a little bit of purple in yellow, it'll dull it a little bit. But since yellow is such a light color, you can't put a bunch, just a little bit. So we're going to end up doing that to knock it down a little bit. So we've got that yellow there. This doesn't match super well on the camera. So it's hard for you guys to see exactly what it looks like here, but I'm almost out of that, but it's a pretty close match. It looks pretty good to me. I'm going to have to order some more. There's a little bit in there, but not much. This saffron yellow is nowhere close. Way too orange. This bright yellow, again, way too orange. You can actually see a little bit of it on the edge there. And again, it's not showing up on the camera all that great. This cadmium yellow, also too orange. This neon yellow is just going to be way too bright. It's very vivid. Bright yellow. That one's not quite orange enough. And then lemon yellow. not orange enough. So this one's the best match, but it's almost empty. I like that one, and what's with this bright yellow is somewhat similar. Alright, so I'm going to see if there's enough of this left to use, and if not, we'll use this. But I'll start mixing it up a little bit in the cap, and then we'll see if we can get anything close to what's actually on the playfield. So my yellow light has dried up, people, so that one ain't going to work. So I took bright yellow, right, and just a little teeny tiny bit of purple. Just enough where you can barely tell it did something. And I started putting it on. And when I did, it looked a little too green. Like the yellow was just... So if you look on the color wheel, it's yellow, orange... I mean, it's red, orange, yellow, and then green. So the yellow looked a little too green. So to pull it back the other way, I put a little bit of this yellow that's too orange in it. And so it made it look a little less green, a little more yellow, right? And so I've been just kind of feathering it in over the places where it's missing. So over here, and you know, yellow is a very thin paint, so it's not going to cover black very well. So I just painted right over the black numbers because we're going to redo them anyway. And so if you look really carefully, you have to use like fresh eyes on this stuff. So right there where the 6000 is, right there, that looks green, but it's because it's yellow over black. And black is really blue. You know, black's like a dark blue in paint. You know, they don't really have a black. It's really just really dark blue. So anyway, what happens when you put yellow with blue? It looks kind of green. So the 6000, the 4000, the 7000 that I painted over look green. So it's playing a trick with your eyes where it makes the yellow behind it look green too. But it's a pretty freaking close match. It's not bad. Now if I get real close to it, you'll say, oh, there's nowhere that doesn't look anything like it. But this is where you see it from. You know what I mean? So once we ink back in that and touch that up, it'll fill it in. So these fingers, right here where it stretches across, I had to repaint the yellow in because that was all worn too. So just a little teeny tiny bit. You're just trying to feather it in where it's just barely making it yellow. And you want it thin, you know. You don't want it real thick. If I paint it real thick, it looks new, you know, like I was talking about. That doesn't look right. So once you do that, I could come up here and do this too. See the minor little stuff on that? And, you know, there's probably a little bit over there. But the secret to this stuff is knowing when to stop. Don't go overboard. You're just trying to correct the stuff that's really screwed up, right? So, in other words, I'm done with the yellow. I'm not going to do anymore. I touched up a little bit right here. And I touched up those fingers that go in. This one's still a little thin. I'm just going to leave it. It's close enough, man. We don't want it to be super obvious that we touched up all the paint. We want it to be, if there's still a few little screw-ups, it'll look more natural, you know? Okay, so we're going to finish up with the yellow. So let's go look at our red paints and see what we have in the way of red. Okay, so I found a few reds. First, we've got cranberry wine is nowhere close, right? Way too purple. That ain't gonna work. Next up, we have Country Red. I've used this one in the past a lot. And let me tell you, that looks pretty damn close to me. So that's a definite maybe. Definitely a maybe. Tuscan Red. Too dark. Okay. Tomato Red. Did you know there were so many reds? Tomato Red. We might have to pop the top on that one. Okay. Cherry Red. A little bit too dark. Primary Red. Maybe a little bit too bright. Okay, so I'm going to take the tops off these three, and then we'll have our final beauty pageant. Okay, folks, contestant number 1 is Country Red. The only thing with it is it's a little bit dull looking. The camera's not showing it very well. It doesn't, it looks more, it's not vivid enough. It's just, it's dull looking. So I don't think that one's not going to be good enough. And then the second one is Tomato Red. So Tomato Red, at least what they're calling Tomato Red, is really freaking bright. I mean, it's got a lot going on. I think that's going to be too much. And then finally we have Primary Red, which looks fairly close to me. Now you could just repaint the whole thing, but I'm trying not to have to do that, folks. Although, you know, really, I'm going to be doing all of this anyway, so maybe I should just repaint the whole thing. Okay, so I'm thinking that one looks the closest, Primary Red. So I'm going to get a paintbrush and we'll paint a little bit on and see if it looks like it looks anything like what. primary red right out of the can. It's a pretty close match, but not exact, but it'll work and that'll be all right. So I didn't paint this. Pretty close, people. That's pretty close right out of the bottle. So if you're doing like a whole area, you can easily just repaint, you know, use that color for the whole area, and even if it's off a little bit, it's really hard to make out. Okay, so now we just need to ink in the black. So we're going to use acrylic paint pens. You want to use acrylic on everything because if you mess up, you can just wipe it off, and also because it covers really well. Acrylic is water-based. It covers really well with clear coat. We just use a spray paint clear coat. If you use like a Sharpie or something to do the black lines, whenever you clear coat it, it'll all run. Like the black will just run. It interacts with the chemicals in the spray paint or whatever and makes a mess. So don't do that, people. So we're just simply going to go through and ink the black lines in freehand, make it look as good as we can, and run with it. Some people have said, oh, you could use stencils and water slide decals. Well, I could. It'd take hours, and I'm not convinced that it would make it look any better. So what I'm going to do is spend 10 minutes and just do it freehand. But whenever you do yours, definitely use stencils and water slide decals and all of the other stuff that you guys tell me to do. Definitely do that. So I'm going to, I'll set it up and you can watch a little bit of it and we'll see if we get it to look halfway decent. Alright, so that's how she came out. We're going to put some clear coat on it. We just use spray paint clear coat you can buy at the store. A lot of people use automotive clear coat and all that. This thing, you know, come on. It's not new anymore, people. But the clear coat will make it look a lot better. You have to make sure it's clean before you clear it so that you don't get a bunch of trash in the paint. I'm going to clean this shooter lane a little better before we clear it. And there's still some issues, like there's still wear there, see? But somebody the other day called it a, what do they call it? Weibo Sabi restore, where you basically, you leave things worn. I don't like using the word restore, because when you say restore, people think, oh, you're going to make it look new again. We never make them look new again. But, come on. That looks a hell of a lot better than it did. Rewind to the beginning of the video. Alright, so I'll put some clear coat on it, and then we'll start putting it back together after it dries. We'll put some wax on it and start putting our pieces back on. We'll do another. We'll do some more updates after we start getting stuff together. But all in all, I think it looks excellent. Alright folks, so this is what we came up with after we replaced everything on the playfield. Got the spinners back on it. Touched up the drop targets a little bit. We got a replacement plastic there. Ew. Got a replacement pop bumper cap there. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! It's looking great. So I think it turned out pretty good. What do you think? Needed a little bit of paint, but it turned out pretty cool. I like too how the bare wood there, after you clear it, it kind of has this mottled kind of look. It just makes it look old, people. Gives it kind of like a walnut texture or something. I like it. I think it came out pretty nice. So there you go. Now we're going to do another video where we fix up all the lights and everything. We haven't messed with the lamp board yet. We've got to work on the flippas and some of that. So we'll film that in a video later. Look for it tomorrow. Are you going to be around tomorrow? If you're going to be around tomorrow or any day after that forever, go watch the next video. But it'll be out tomorrow if you wait for it. So we hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below and let us know what you think. Now we keep getting people saying, oh, I'm glad you said below, dumbass. I was going to leave the comment above. Look, I have to say below. Or you might think that I mean leave a comment on our website or something. Leave the comment below the video, all right? There's nothing wrong with me saying that. Let's leave your comments below. Give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Let us know how you think it turned out. I think it looks pretty good. I like it. It's going to make his nice old pinball machine be very playable again. It's came a long way, baby, don't you think? And we'd like to thank everybody that's been using our Amazon links. If you don't know about that, there's a link down below, as opposed to above, that tells you how to get to Amazon. It's by clicking our link. And if you go to Amazon and buy anything, after you click our link, it gives us a little tip. So we appreciate everybody that's been doing that. People have been buying all kinds of stuff for Christmas, so thank you very much for that, which now works in several different countries, maybe even yours. So thank you to everybody that's been doing that. And then also, have you checked out my brother Donnie? So I have a brother named Donnie. I'm Ronnie. And on the weekends, we've been working on some crazy stuff. There is a little town near here with a bunch of old, dilapidated buildings downtown. And so for several years, we've been purchasing these buildings very inexpensively and then fixing them up so that we can rent them out to people. So we have recently purchased the old grocery store. It's a little tiny one, though. Little tiny grocery store. And I confirmed with a gentleman who was there when they built it this weekend that it was, in fact, a grocery store. And only half of it was a grocery store. The other side was the flower shop. And he said when they built it, It was this side was a grocery store, this side was a flower shop. And I said, now was it a grocery store or like a meat market? And he said, oh, it was both. In the back they had meat, and then up front they had canned goods and dry goods on the shelves up front. And this guy is, you know, sharp as a tack. If he says this is what it was, this is what it was. It was just a little tiny grocery store. So we've been working on that, trying to get it ready to rent. And we've been filming our adventures. So go check that out. It's on my brother's channel. My brother, Donnie, he does a bunch of other crazy stuff on there too. So if you like interesting videos that have nothing to do with arcade games and pinball machines, make sure to subscribe to him. And I'll see you over there several times a week usually, but sometimes it's just him. So we appreciate everybody that's been hanging out with us over there, and leave your comments below as opposed to on the side or above or on another forum, and we will catch you on the next video, which will be tomorrow. See you then.